Welcome to the Herd's official YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget to check out the Colin Cowherd podcast, all of our NFL instant reactions, and more football content.
Here we go. It is a Monday. We're live in LA. It's the Herd, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. Thanks for making us part of your day. You know, J-Mac, you said something about 5 minutes ago as we were sitting here jotting some notes down. The bottom of the NFL is like the bottom of the NBA now. There are some bad teams. Two of them may be in New York. It was not a good weekend for New York sports. Yankees, Giants, Jets, even Buffalo upstate. But we've been sitting waiting for Philadelphia because they keep winning, and we keep waiting for Philadelphia to lose. And finally, they met their match.
Yeah. Hey, Denver Broncos, your guy, Bo Nix.
Yep. So in football and in life, drip, drip, drip. Like, people don't wake up and just decide, let's get a divorce. There were signs. Companies don't go from great quarterly earnings to we're bankrupt. There are signs, warning signs, red flags, arguments. Philadelphia has been a leaky faucet for 5 weeks. We've been talking about this. Saquon Barkley, his production's been cut in half. The Lions have 2 running backs that are more productive than Saquon Barkley. They labor to get the ball to A.J. Brown, an elite wide receiver. The offensive line used to be the best in the sport, middle of the pack. Doesn't even look close to Detroit's now. So, and I've been preaching this for 3 years. Nick Sirianni is not a scheme guy. Okay, so he is very offensive coordinator dependent. All right? So when he has a great coordinator, he gets the Super Bowls. He hired Brian Johnson, didn't work, circle the drain. He missed on a coordinator. Hired somebody in the building that had never called plays before. Could be a good coach, but right now at this moment in that coach's life, probably not the right fit with this veteran offense. And it took a half. But Bo Nix, who's still a kid, Bo Nix has played, 22 starts in the NFL? He's going to have bad halves. He's going to have bad throws. But in that second half, Sean Payton, and this is what he does, maybe as good as any coach in this league, that second half, Sean Payton extracted every yard out of that offense. 2-point conversions on the road, noisy crowd, everybody involved, multiple receivers running the ball, another very good Denver draft. All these guys can play. And Bo Nix, that dude is athletic, and he is fast. He used to hold the ball a little long last year. Bo Nix is seeing it and let it rip. So the better team, the better coach, and yes, the better quarterback, by the second half of that game, were on display. And this is nothing against Nick Sirianni, but he's got a stacked roster. And don't even try to convince me 45 yards rushing, the big plays are gone. They were a good big play team. They're done. They're 17th in the NFL in big plays. With A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, they're middle of the pack on big plays. Yards per play has tanked. Saquon Barkley's getting touched a yard into the carry, not 2.5. So this is not on the players. The players were great last year. What did they do? All eat Twinkies in the offseason? Give me a break. It's a coordinator hire. And that's okay. A lot of coaches in this league are not Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan Thursday night goes out with backups everywhere and outcoaches Sean McVay. He's a scheme guy. Coordinator's much less relevant to Kyle Shanahan. And it's not a knock on Sirianni, but that's not what he is. And so if he makes the wrong OC hire, this is not the same team. It's not the players. It's not the effort. It's not the toughness. Coaching matters. We've seen this more and more. Coordinating matters in this league. Second half of that game, Sean Payton put on a clinic. Bo Nix with 22 starts against Vic Fangio, one of the best defensive coordinators in the sport. Clinic up and down those last 2 drives. And here's Sirianni after.
I think that the guys have worked extremely hard in preparation. I see the same hunger that was there prior to us winning the Super Bowl. So I don't think it's anything like that. Again, just the name of this game is always going to come down to detail. And as far as us as coaches and players, we weren't detailed enough today, and they were a little more detailed than us.
Okay, usually my second story on a Monday isn't about a blowout. But when Dak Prescott broke into this league, Zeke was a great running back. The O-line, Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, it was the best O-line in a decade in the NFL. Dak got a lot of credit and didn't have to do a lot of heavy lifting. He had to babysit Des Bryant. That was about it. But he was a little overrated. Now this Dak is not getting enough credit. They don't have a number one receiver currently. The offensive line is still in a rebuild mode. Running game, okay. Staff, fine. Defense, last in the league. Okay, Dak Prescott, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield. It's like they've hit the 10,000-hour rule. Like they're all smart guys, but they have reached another level of football IQ. And Dak's gone from a little overrated to now underappreciated. If I had an MVP vote today, I would vote probably Baker Mayfield 1 and Dak 2. I would give Baker it because he's won more games and he's won them late, but also Baker Mayfield has the better general manager, the better rookie receiver. I think the overall roster in Tampa is much better than the Cowboys roster. But this Dak, right now, what you're seeing Dak Prescott do, this is the best Dak I've ever seen. First of all, I think he's lost weight and gained strength. They're missing 3 offensive linemen. CeeDee Lamb's a top 5 receiver. Doesn't have him. Running backs, kind of by committee. Okay, not special. And listen, Brian Schottenheimer deserves a lot of credit. We don't think he's Andy Reid or Sean Payton. So, again, I'm looking at MVP right now. And here's the other thing to remember about Dak, where he deserves a lot of credit. Everybody said when Des Bryant left, he was in trouble. Nope. When Zeke left, he's in trouble. Tyron Smith left. Micah left. The great Zach Martin. All these great players have left. And every time, as long as Dak Prescott is upright, the Cowboys win double-digit games. I mean, let's be honest. Sometimes it takes a long time. You got to read to the end of the book. Yeah, you ever read a mystery or a murder mystery and you kind of figure it out by the 4th or 5th chapter? And then the really great books, like all of a sudden you're like in chapter 10, 12. Dak, you got to peel this onion. You got to peel this. There was a little overhyped Dak with a great O-line and a great run game. And Jerry Jones at the time felt, not quite as meddling. And then all of a sudden it's Mike McCarthy and Dak's actually putting up better numbers. And now McCarthy leaves. Brian Schottenheimer, who nobody loved. CeeDee Lamb is hurt. Mike is gone. It is a lot of C-plus players, and they're still rebuilding this offensive line, and Dak looks unbelievable. He was getting MVP chance in New York, and he was asked about it after.
I mean, my ears work, so I heard it, but I didn't hear it to your answer. It's week 5. I don't care. I don't care if it was week 17. I've told y'all what I want to win, the team goals. Right now, the success and the continued success is going to happen. It's just a beneficiary of all the guys in that locker room.
Again, Owa says the right thing. He is a dropped pass against Philadelphia from being 3-1-1. Don't pay attention to the 2-2-1. He is playing next level. Remember, they tied Green Bay. And, I mean, the way Green Bay was running the clock late in that game, could have won it. They had Philadelphia beat. CeeDee Lamb at his worst game as a pro. 3 drops, 1, right in the breadbasket. So you can't, sometimes the record doesn't belie the truth. Dak's playing out of his mind. So is Baker, so is Darnold. It's these old guys. They got the 10,000 hours. But I think I would vote Baker Mayfield MVP of the league today. I think I would have right now Dak runner-up. From, a little overhyped to, is everybody paying attention to what's happening here? Coaching staff, ownership, O-line. I mean, find me a guy in the league that's working with a bunch of mid that's putting up those numbers. Well, it's the Jets. Well, the Jets look pretty good against the Steelers. The Jets didn't look that bad last week. Whatever's happening, Dak goes on the road. It's one of my favorite picks of the week. I mean, that thing was, what was that thing? 23-3 at half, 30-3 at one point? And Dak's putting on a clinic. That is amazing. So J-Mac, who did, you went 5-1 in your picks. I had a winning week as well. So we know taking over a less talented team and rebuilding it, it's hard.
Yeah.
Okay, Aaron Glenn's a great example. But it's not that hard. Just like anything in life. Taking over a building, a business.
Yeah.
I mean, for a therapist fixing a rocky marriage, it's hard. But it's not that hard. Competent people can do it. How about New England? How about what Mike Vrabel's doing and Drake Maye's doing?
Drake Maye looks amazing. Incredible fourth quarter last night.
New York Jets had more high-end players when Aaron Glenn took them over than New England had. And a more experienced quarterback in Justin Fields. Yeah. So, again, same division. I'm not saying it isn't hard, but you're seeing a gap between Mike Vrabel and Aaron Glenn in a month.
It's not even close.
So we'll talk about that. It's easy to beat up on Buffalo. I don't think last night was about the Buffalo Bills at all. I think everybody in this sport has a stinker. They fumbled it. It was ball security was a mess. We'll talk about what's happening in New England, as well as Baker and Sam, who put on an absolute clinic yesterday in the Pacific Northwest.
Today's show is brought to you by our new presenting sponsor, Hard Rock Bet. They're a great partner. October baseball is here, baby. The pressure's higher, the moments are bigger. One swing can change everything. Hard Rock Bet lets you get in on every pitch. So if you're a new customer, you place a $5 bet. If it hits, a $5 bet hits, you not only get your winnings, but also $150 in extra bonus bets. Plus, every day this week on Hard Rock Bet, you can get a profit boost for a playoff baseball parlay. There are new promos every day. Boost your same-game parlay or your SGP max so your bet pays extra winnings. So if you want to see what everybody else is betting on tonight, who's going to homer, top picks or parlays across any sport, the Hard Rock Bet app literally shows you. Easy, cool. Another reason, download the Hard Rock Bet app. Takes you 90 seconds. Tap Discover, and you can see trending picks and parlays at any time. Download the Hard Rock Bet app. Make your first deposit. Have fun.
Well, Stephon Diggs had a great homecoming. He was a very valuable receiver for the Buffalo Bills when he was there. Then he came back, and he comes back as a New England Patriot. So I'm not going to beat up too much on the Bills. They don't lose at home much. It was just one of those games. They couldn't hold on to the football. They didn't play particularly well. And Buffalo's fine. Is Buffalo great? I don't know. But Buffalo just didn't play well. And you have games like this. The Chiefs in their dynasty, the Patriots in their dynasty had games like this. This game was about the culture that Mike Vrabel has built and about Drake Maye, now with a legitimate head coach, quickly becoming a franchise star. This one we called. I said, basically Vrabel, and I picked him to make the playoffs despite being bad last year. Vrabel is the opposite of Mike McDaniel in Miami. He is all function and no flash. His brand, his scheme is toughness. He's a 260-pound pair of work boots. And that is what Vrabel's all about. He's your classic CEO, brand creator, culture builder, all about resilience, all about toughness. NFL coaching and a lot of business is masonry, laying bricks every day. And that's what Vrabel does. He still gives Brady and Belichick crap. He does not, he honors many, he worships none. He's one of the smartest coaches in the league. And and by the way, Belichick, you're seeing it in college. Belichick doesn't know college personnel. He can't recruit it in college. He couldn't draft it in the NFL. He can't. And so Vrabel didn't get anything. The last 5 drafts before Vrabel got there were nonsense, crap. So he had to get a GM and spend $300 million to just get an NFL roster. But I look at it. He also hiring Josh McDaniel. Again, not everybody is built to be a head coach. Some guys are brilliant vice presidents. Josh McDaniel created Brady. Brady in the early years, Charlie Weiss, Josh McDaniel, Brady was always willing to be coached. Same with Drake Maye. We said when Drake Maye came out of college, he's Justin Herbert. He just is not quite polished enough. So it was speed dating, speed him up quickly because Gerard Mayo was not it. Again, a guy that's more coordinator. But between Josh McDaniels, the culture, Vrabel, the intelligence, this team's a playoff team. They check all the boxes a playoff team does. Toughness, resilient, can win on the road, excellent young quarterback. They've spent their money in the right places. And if Stephon Diggs can stay healthy, you're not going to get a lot of over-the-top throws in the playoffs in the AFC. You're not. The weather's going to be lousy. But for the record, the Titans are 4-18 since Mike Vrabel left. That's one of the things we always talk about. It's not just what you do when you arrive, what happens to the company you left. With Harbaugh, they go into the tank. With Vrabel, the Titans are a laughingstock. Despite yesterday's goofy win, they're a laughingstock. The worst team in the league. So, I mean, this is not a small win. This is a defining moment for Vrabel. I think they're actually, I don't know if Mike Vrabel looked at the schedule before the season and looked at this game and thought it was that winnable. I think they're getting better really fast. If you go look at Drake Maye's second half stats the last 3 weeks, last 4 weeks, I mean, they gave that game away against Pittsburgh, and he's a young quarterback. I mean, Drake Maye had a terrible red zone pick against Pittsburgh. He's a young quarterback. He's a kid. He's got 20 starts. Bo Nix has like 22 starts. But it's not about the bad throws. It's about, can you make the big boy throws? And Drake Maye last night made about 4 of them. And it's like, oh, okay, we gotta, this is big boy football. That's C.J. Stroud. That first year, he wasn't great every Sunday, but he'd get protection when he did. He'd make throws, and you're like, yeah, there's like 6 guys in the world that can make that throw. So what a win for New England. This is what a playoff team looks like. Now, I'm not sure if it's a high-level playoff team, but, I mean, Burrow's out. Ravens are nonsense. They just beat Buffalo. Maybe they are. Here's Vrabel after.
Really proud of the whole team for being able to come into this road environment. We talk about a lot of other people that had cracks beating them here. For 14 games, they had their opportunity, and we and those players took advantage of that opportunity and beat a really good football team that hasn't lost here much.
Yeah, that was impressive. And by the way, here's the other thing I love. You ever seen that thing Vrabel does after the game? He greets every single player. Vrabel is about the players. Belichick in the end was about Belichick, right? Belichick became about Belichick, and Vrabel's always been about the guys. It's very rare when you get somebody that's great at their job and doesn't really have an ego. And I'm telling you, I thought they'd be a wild card playoff team. I think they're ahead of schedule. I did not expect them. I said this week, I took them to cover. I said I'd take them to cover. It's a division rivalry game. I didn't think I was going to win that thing. Buffalo does not lose at home. J-Mac with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herdline News.
If you want to buy low stock Patriots, here's who they have next. At Spencer Rattler versus Cam Ward versus Dylan Gabriel, Michael Penix. There's still Jets and Giants on the schedule. This could be an 11-win team, Colin. Jake Browning is coming up. Look at it. Look at this. They're going to win like 8 or 9 games before December.
So do you realize this is going to be my 5th straight?
Oh, gosh.
What?
I bring that up. Another hit for Cowherd.
No. My favorite bet every year is the what team will double their win total team. You take a crappy team. And again, my take was Jets and the Dolphins are not trending up. They're going to get 4 wins there. I didn't think they'd beat Buffalo, but if you start looking at that schedule, I mean, I didn't think Tampa would be this good.
Their toughest game in the next 7 weeks is at Baker Mayfield. That's it. These guys, that's a good call by you. All right, let's get to a not-so-good call. The Baltimore Ravens. Oh, my gosh, Colin. This team is bad. Down bad right now, as the kids like to say. They lose 44-10 to the Texans at home. The Ravens defense is on pace to give up 602 points, which would be the worst of all time. There's a stat floating around. They've given up 177 points through 5 games. That Ray Lewis, Ed Reed defense from 2000, historically great, gave up 165 for the season. Here's John Harbaugh talking about how bad things are right now.
Just a complete disappointment, and we're going to have to find a way to turn it around and figure out who we are this next week and then into the bye and after the bye. We're going to have more than half the season left, and we're going to have to find ourselves. So that's what our aim will be going forward.
So they were down Roquan Smith, their middle linebacker, Marlon Humphrey, who's their best corner, but he's not even playing good. Kyle Hamilton, who's their chess piece on defense. They're not winning any games without those guys. Yeah. The backups were like kind of undrafted dudes off the street getting cooked.
That's what happens when you pay guys. When you're paying Kyle or Roquan Smith, is your backups aren't as good. So there are very few rosters that have a ton of depth. There just aren't many in the NFL anymore. So because that's why you have to, and you and I have discussed this a lot, you have to really be careful in the NFL who you pay. you've got to be very careful because all you have to do is pay one guy too much, and all of a sudden a linebacker and a corner go down, and you have CFL players. But I mean, they pay their stars. Ronnie Stanley, Lamar Jackson, they pay their stars. Well, all it takes is 3 injuries. I mean, go look at the Chargers right now. Yeah. Without their offensive tackles, it's not a functional offense.
By the way, Ronnie Stanley also missed the game.
Yep.
Colin, I don't know. I don't want to get into should they fire John Harbaugh. There's just too many injuries. It's not like this is that.
That's right.
Here's the problem. They got the Rams on deck.
Oh, they're going to lose, yeah.
Rams are off extra time. Yeah. If some of these guys don't come back,
yeah,
I don't think they win. Now, the good news is if we could get the Ravens schedule on the screen, after the bye, their schedule is a cakewalk.
Well, and also they'll get healthier.
They'll get healthy.
My guess is they reel off 6 or 7 wins post-Thanksgiving, and they make it a 8-9 or a 9-8 season. I don't think it's a playoff team. I think teams like Denver, here comes Kansas City, here's Denver. The Colts are absolutely the real deal. If Jacksonville wins tonight, New England's the real deal. Listen, we're having a little changing of the guard here. Burrow's hurt again. Ravens are a mess. And all of a sudden, New England looks good. Oh, wait a minute. The Colts are totally legit.
Listen, if you want a decent bet, tell me if you'd be, look at that schedule, right? So you get the Bears after the bye. They should beat the Bears with Lamar and everybody. They're going to beat the Dolphins. They should beat J.J. McCarthy.
They're going to win 8 or 9 games.
Well, here's the thing. Can they still win the division? Do you trust Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh to get separation?
The way Aaron's playing, I do. Listen, we thought this could be the best division in football. It's arguably the worst with Burrow out and with Lamar out. So it happens.
They still got the Steelers twice. That's interesting. Now, let's sorry to go to another bad team, but the Raiders and Pete Carroll, oh my gosh, they get destroyed by the Colts yesterday, 40-6. It's bordering on embarrassing. Geno Smith is just at rock bottom right now.
I think this is more about the Colts.
Colts are good, yeah, but 40-6 and some of these decisions by Geno, he looks lost in the pocket. Now, he didn't have Bowers, which hurts.
And he doesn't have his best left tackle, so it's not a functional offense.
Yeah.
I think the Colts
are good.
I think they're absolutely for real. I think it's a top 3 offensive line. I like their weapons. They've been very lucky. Ballard in the first round has had great players fall to him. This roster has I always said this, to be a Super Bowl team, you got to have about 7 elite players somewhere close to their prime. I don't think the tight end's close to his prime yet.
Tyler Warren is everywhere, man. He's throwing passes.
Yes.
He's running the football. I mean,
but when you watch the Colts, they gave that game away against the Rams. They gave that thing away. This Colts team's going to win this division because I think Kansas City beats Jacksonville tonight. This is not about the Raiders being awful. It's Pete's first year. This is about a GM who has built a really good roster, and they've been sitting there since the late Jim Irsay forced Wentz to leave. They've been bailing water at quarterback. Well, Daniel Jones may not be an A, but with Steichen, he's pretty damn good.
It is interesting. The Colts went and got Daniel Jones. Pete Carroll wanted Geno Smith. Here's Pete Carroll after the loss.
I'm processing it poorly. I'll tell you the truth, because I did expect to win right out of the chutes. They out-executed us in the throwing and catching part of it, and we weren't able to get off the field, and that's why they sustained their drives.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of upside with this team.
No.
Colin, we're going to round out Herdline here with another negative story, and that's Bill Belichick. And North Carolina football, I don't know if you watched this Saturday. It was a crowded sports day.
First play of the game. Didn't Clemson go to the tricks? There it is.
Yeah. I mean, and, look at North Carolina, 5 yards trailing here. It was bad. 38-10 beatdown, was never close. I'm pretty sure this was 35-3 for a while.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Clemson's not even good. Bill Belichick, his team has scored a touchdown on 4 of 29 drives against Power 5 conferences. That's not good. Here's Belichick after the L.
We just got to do a better job of coaching, a better job of playing, and just eliminate the mistakes. They're fixable. I mean, there's honestly not that many things that we can't get right, but we got to do a better job of it. And we can't give up plays like that defensively at the beginning of the game. Obviously, it just tilts the score. It's too much. So get back to work here tomorrow, and I expect the players to rebound like they did last week and have another good week here.
I watched some of this game, and I just go back to the last 6 drafts in New England. Bill controlled it and could not draft.
Yeah.
And clearly doesn't have a great eye for college personnel because they just don't have any good players. It's just, I mean, defensively, Cade Klubnik had struggled all year. It was pitch and catch. I don't know what his numbers were. Was he like 24 of 26?
Very good.
I mean, it was like practice.
Yeah.
So I think college football to some degree is a young man's game, but if you are middle-aged or older like Saban, you have to have great energy.
Well, Mac Brown before him,
but again,
he was good.
Very good personality, very good energy, very good recruiter. So is Saban. Bill's not an engaging personality, and he and Mike Lombardi, they're Sunday guys. They're not Saturday guys. So I don't think they have a feel for it yet. That doesn't mean they couldn't turn it around.
Yeah, next year, maybe.
But
this feels like Arch Manning. Hey, this was an exciting offseason story. Everybody was pumped. And no, it's just a big rejection.
The transfer portal seduces a lot of coaches. You think you can solve a lot of your problems? You can't bring 50 new guys to a football team and build a culture. That's what I worried about. Remember I said this about New England when Mike Vrabel came in. I said they spent so much money to get the NFL roster of the Patriots just up to like NFL standards. There were remember how bad they were in the first couple of weeks? And I said, you got to give me a break. New England start playing too many new people. Well, then it took a week 3, week 4, week 5. Everybody was banging on New England. Well, think about this. You're doing that with college guys. So Belichick's got 50 new guys. You just can't do that. Lincoln Riley still can't get his defense right. When you live and breathe with the transfer portal in college, you can't build a culture. You can build an offense if you get a great quarterback, or you can have some explosive plays, but they just don't have enough good players, and none of these guys have played together before. J-Mac with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herdline News.
So it's one of these things in life that's never fair. You know, they always say when men and women meet, men take 8 seconds, women take 8 minutes. But they decide first date, yeah, I'm going to hook up. This person will work. And first impressions in pro sports are rough. Sam Darnold's 21. He goes to the completely dysfunctional New York Jets. And then Baker Mayfield goes to completely functional Cleveland. Now, Baker was much better than Sam, but it does get embedded in your mind, and you kind of hold it against Sam. Well, he's having another decent year. Or you look at Baker, and you're like, oh, it'll implode. He's cocky. If you'd never watched Darnold in New York, and you'd never watched Baker in Cleveland, and you just watched that game yesterday, you would think you have Brady Manning. Those guys were unbelievable. Mayfield goes 29 of 33, 380 yards. Darnold goes 28 of 34. They both have a passer rating at 135. It's one of the best offensive quarterback games I've ever seen in my life. And Baker's missing Mike Evans. He's missing Bucky Irving. Seattle's defense was a little banged up. I mean, it's the NFL. You're not going to be healthy. Baker was unbelievable. I'd give him my MVP today. This is the best Baker's ever played. It is that Seattle defense it was banged up, but it's a good defense. That's a tough place to play. But again, Brady and Manning played over 15 times. We went and looked it up this morning. They never had a matchup with this kind of offensive productivity. If you didn't get this game in your local market and you got stuck with the Cardinals and the Titans, the NFL owes you an apology. That is one of the best quarterback games I've ever seen in my life. The game had 9 touchdowns and 10 incompletions. And Baker was amazing. Sam's a little more athletic. Baker probably better just throwing strikes from the pocket. What I watched was 2 great quarterbacks, 2 great GMs / rosters, 2 very competent head coaches. And Baker was not playing with a fully healthy team, and Seattle wasn't playing with a fully healthy defense. But, you know, it's funny. Both these guys obviously take to coaching because Sam Darnold's biggest issue was really reckless and accuracy issues, and he had a slow windup. Darnold gets rid of that ball fast, and he's really accurate. So 4 straight years, Darnold's accuracy has improved. The other thing is they both have a great young wide receiver that is growing with them. So they didn't inherit, a lot of egos. They went to good coaches, defensive coaches, who let them be their own personality. But here was Baker after a scintillating win.
We're built different. It's the way the locker room's wired, the way they've built this roster, and I love it. It's a group that plays with an edge, and I always say we're always in the fight, but I love this team, and I love the way they fight.
And both Baker and Sam can have their reckless moments, But we looked it up. Manning and Brady played 17 times. They never had a single game where both threw for over 300, or they neither ever played together, and both teams scored over 35 points. So that shootout was rare. But again, if you go back to your first impressions, Darnold's 21. He goes to New York. The Jets are the Jets. They could make anybody look bad. Think about how many people in this league today are flourishing that are former Jets. The coach of the Bucs, Todd Bowles, the quarterback for the Seahawks, Sam Darnold, Devontae Adams. I mean, it's remarkable how many former Jets. But again, when you're 20, 21, 22, 23, and you walk into a dysfunctional business, you're not established. It'd be one thing if you're 37. Darnold and Baker now could go to a dysfunctional team, right? And they'd have the buy-in from players. But if these two teams, Seattle and Tampa, met in the NFC Championship, I would not be shocked. That's what I watched. And these teams weren't healthy. Playmakers, quarterbacks, coaching, speed. That's one of the best games I've ever seen, honestly. So I have this theory that everything now, because of TikTok and Instagram, is performative. Nobody can just have lunch or a conversation with a friend, and you can't go out, or you've got to take pictures of your food, and you've got to show where you're at. People can't just live. And I think this trend among young people, this need to constantly be performing and be cool. And I believe this is happening in the NFL because I've now seen it like 3-4 times, and it's disturbing. Yesterday, Arizona running back Amari DiMercato breaks free. Man, this is a bad trend. Trying to be cool, drops the ball at the goal line. This would have sealed the win. They would have gone up 28-6. It would have sealed the win. Every yard counts in the NFL. Every play counts in the NFL. Do you know how hard your teammates work? How hard it is to be an offensive lineman to create that hole? How hard football practice is? I mean, that's literally like showing up late to work the week your company's having layoffs. Hello, self-awareness. By the way, last week, Indianapolis wide receiver, another showboater, A.D. Mitchell, does the exact same thing. This could have sealed the game for the Colts, and this guy never scored a touchdown in the NFL, still hasn't. What in God's name are you thinking? Stop showboating. Get into the end zone. By the way, this week he played 6 snaps. Thankfully, I'd cut him. I'd have no problem cutting guys that do this. People are losing jobs in the NFL because of this. Coaches, coordinators, teammates. You know how hard it is to score in a long touchdown run in the NFL? There are very few of them. Philadelphia now can't run the football, and they got Pro Bowlers everywhere. It's hard. It's so selfish and so disrespectful. The Jets had a guy that did this last year, Malachi Corley. Shocking. He's never scored a touchdown. Most of the great players get it. But you have to be so self-absorbed, lacking in total self-awareness. I mean, the Arizona was missing 2 starters at running back. Bro, it's your moment. It is your moment. Remember this last year with the Jets? A guy that's never scored a touchdown. Performative. Trying to be cool. This is the NFL. Go look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year. Every single play matters. I mean, to do that to your teammates. I mean, baseball practice as a kid was fun. Basketball practice is a good sweat. Soccer practice. Football practice, it's often in bad weather. Pads, it's cold. It's hard. You're getting hit. Football practice is hard. You're going to be that selfish of a human being, that selfish of a teammate to all your brothers who worked so hard. You know how rarely you get a 50-yard touchdown run in the NFL? This thing was going to be a 70-yard touchdown run. Those just don't happen. The good teams don't get those. The bad teams never get them. All that work. And you're going performative. Don't tell me you couldn't see the line. Not that hard to figure out. Here was the coach after.
As a coach, what do you say to him?
It's never about one play. We have coaching points that I'm not going to tell you guys now.
Is this the worst that you've felt after a loss here?
I don't know that. What do you think, Bob? We've had some bad ones.
Yeah, on the sideline, that coach was furious. I don't blame him. I mean, that coach was absolutely – I'm surprised so many players were consoling him. That is an L. I mean, it is – man, you got to be a selfish coworker. You really got to be selfish to do that. A.D. Mitchell, bro, you've never been in the end zone. The Colts are a good team. You're on the road. You're facing the Rams. Daniel Jones is playing his butt off. Your offensive line's giving great protection, and you're trying to perform. I swear to God, I think this is TikTok and Instagram, and nobody can just have lunch. Nobody can just have lunch without taking a picture of it. Can we just live a little bit and not have to constantly show off? Speaking of show off, Bo Nix got to in the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter against the Eagles on the road, Bo Nix was 9 of 10, 3 of 3 on scoring drives, 1 of 1 on 2-point conversion. A lot of you guys are rooting against Bo Nix. It's going to work. I mean, he's going against Vic Fangio's defense in that roster. He's really been able to speed up his delivery. He held on to the ball last year too long. He plays super fast right now. He is, and he's also really athletic. I'd make an argument you could run him more. He is really athletic. And here's the thing that you see. I say this all the time. Watch a game and watch the play calling. A coach will tell you what they think about a player by the plays they call. Okay, there's no hand-holding here. Right now, Bo Nix leads the NFL in pass attempts. Yep, more than any other quarterback. That is trust. There's no hand-holding going on in Denver. So, and the other thing, one of the great things about Brady is Brady didn't take sacks. Brady had no problem throwing it away, dirting it, getting rid of it. Bo Nix doesn't get sacked. And they've faced some real defenses. He's been sacked 5 times all year. Now, you know how last year we said a lot of times Caleb Williams was getting sacked and it wasn't always the offensive line's fault? Matt Hasselbeck said that. A lot of people said that. Well, he's only sacked 5 times. That's not all the offensive line getting credit. He gets rid of it fast. And again, he's only played 22 games. So he's going to have, Drake Maye had a horrible interception against the Steelers. Bad plays are going to happen. But when I watch him and his ability to get rid of the ball, get first downs with his legs, I mean, intellectually, physically, that ball's out. Here's Sean Payton after the road win and the decision to go for 2.
We felt situationally with time left on the clock, we came here to win a game. And I had 2 or 3 calls that I loved, and the guys executed. It was perfect. But we felt, I think there were 7.5 minutes. Let's do that. Let's keep being aggressive.
And by the way, the play was designed perfectly. It's interesting about going for 2 because a lot of times I think coaches tend to be math professors before they need to. They start playing to the numbers. That was one of the rare instances. I'm like, listen, Philly doesn't lose. They haven't lost since when? December something last year? You're on the road on Philly. When you're on the road, you go for it. If you're on the road and you're an underdog, that's a go for it moment. If you're at home and a heavy favorite, you may just think, listen, we want to get to overtime. We got the better players. We're at home. Our players are comfortable. Let's get to overtime. I got the better roster. But if you believe we're on the road, we're an underdog, we were getting shelled at half. We have all the momentum I like to call. And again, I think it's situational. I don't think that's an always do it. But again, you have momentum. Bo Nix is hot. The Eagles are a little backpedaling. You're on the road. You're an underdog. By the way, Kansas City you got to think about all this stuff. Kansas City faces Jacksonville tonight. Kansas City just crushed Baltimore. Here comes Kansas City. My take is we're not going to play it safe against the Chiefs. We're not going to play it safe against the top teams in the NFL. Let's go for it. So that was the rare instance. Usually I'd be like, dude, just tie it up. Don't be a math professor. I don't know, J-Mac, how you feel, but that was one of those like, dude, when you get Philadelphia a chance to step on the neck a little bit, I think you go for it.
Yeah, I totally agree because Philly has this weird thing. They don't, play to the whistle. Remember, they had Tampa down 24-6 and just stopped playing.
Yeah.
Up 17-3 in the fourth, kind of stopped playing. Let me ask you on the Eagles, Colin. we know they're good. They were number one in herd hierarchy. So because CeeDee Lamb drops passes, they beat them. Yeah. Travis Kelce bobbles the interception.
There is no great team in this league.
That's the thing. I don't know how good Philly is.
There are great units. There are teams that have great games. There are no great teams in this league. There are awful teams. 2 of them may be in New York, but there are no great teams in the NFL. Colin right, Colin wrong, hour 2, first one flew by. It's the Herd.